Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Thursday afternoon. Happy game day. Spurs re-kick off their Premier League campaign tonight away to Chelsea. Obviously a London derby. The Battle of the Bridge, one of the I guess at times the most fierce rivalry games that you can find is Chelsea away. So we talk about the game today. Give you my last minute thoughts. And we're talking about some Ange quotes that I think are extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. You'll see what I mean when I get into it. So we'll jump in and talk about it. Steve, Dragon, Jake, Graham, Spurs, Janice, Jake, how are we all? Done Jake twice. He gets two good mornings. There you have. So obviously Chelsea away this evening, 8 p.m. standalone game. There are no other Premier League games on this evening. So watching Spurs tonight, you can't turn it off and go watch a different football game. This is all you've got tonight. But in all seriousness, it's a game that I think, if you are somewhat a pessimistic or skeptical human being, you're thinking of the worst tonight. You are, all right? It's a game that, that Spurs don't notoriously do very well in, away at Chelsea. We've had some very interesting games. We've had some games where managers have had blow-ups of one another. We've had, last-minute equalisers. We've had all these things. But for the most part, Spurs have unfortunately not done the business at Chelsea. It's one of those games that feels like at times that if something was to go wrong, a deflected goal, a weird rebound that lands right to their striker's foot, it feels like this game and Liverpool away, they're the two games of the year that Spurs seem to get screwed by the football gods. And maybe, today is the day that the football gods go, we're going to just pause that. We're not going to get involved. And Spurs go, okay, so if we block a shot, we just block a shot. Yeah, you block a shot. And maybe that's me being an optimistic. I tend to, regardless of the season so far, I don't know if this is a bit odd. I break the season down into different parts. Yes, it's all one big season. That's the umbrella term. But I always break it down into before this international break, and so on and so forth. This now is the last part of the season before the season finishes. There is no international breaks that are going to stop this season now. This is, I think, probably looking at the squad now, this is probably the healthiest we've been since the start of the season. We are missing some players. I'm not denying that. We're down, Radu's out for the season. Kulu's out. Danso's out. Richie we'll see about, but he's not going to be exactly that fit. So the irony is missing multiple players, and I'm still sitting here going, it's probably the fittest we've been in a long time. It does say a lot. It does say a lot for our season. But now looking at this season, it's the 3rd of April. Obviously, we have Southampton at the weekend on Sunday. We then play again a week today, the Frankfurt game. 2 weeks today, we will know if we are in the semi-final of the Europa League. And when I talk about cup games, I always talk about, hey, get through. That's the key thing. People can play sexy football and then go out in the cups. And people can play some awful, awful football and get through. I think, the key thing is you want to play well and get through, but at the end of the day, the objective is, can I just get through? Can I win in the cup, right? But I look at the Premier League as an opportunity to continue some good form, good momentum, and lead into those cup games where, it is about winning. And maybe Southampton at home is the perfect launch. Well, it is. They're bottom of the table. It's the perfect launch pad for us. And it's also an opportunity for players to get an opportunity to build up momentum, form, and fitness. But tonight, I look at tonight's game and I look at the big names who have missed the majority of this season. You think Vicario missed months, Romero's missed months, Van de Ven's missed months, Bentancur's missed months, Desir Doggy's missed months. Solanke's missed months in total. So we're talking about in total. for me right now, there's a real sense in my mind to say when we are fit and when we are healthy, you're always not going to be 100%. But if you're missing, let's say, a rotational midfielder and a rotational attacker and maybe a rotational defender, you're sitting there for the most part going, that's probably as fit as we're going to get all season. It's very rare that you walk into a game and have no injuries or even one injury. Look at Liverpool last night. Both the right backs are out. Curtis Jones is a central midfielder, is playing right back. So there is a point. And Chelsea aren't 100% fit. Chelsea are going to be missing a few players as well. Now, are they missing their key players? No, Palmer's back and Neto will be there, and Jackson, their number one striker, is going to be back. And, Caicedo and Fernandes, you're talking about a midfield that costs over 220 million. They are probably as healthy as they could hope for right now. Cucurella's fit. Reece James is back from injury and played minutes for England on the international break to keep building fitness. Obviously, Colwill and Fofana. I think Fofana is okay to play. I didn't actually bother to check. But they are probably coming into this game as healthy as they could really naturally hope for. Okay. But for us, my attitude is if we go into these bigger games and we are as healthy as we could hope for within reason, we can fight. Before all of the goddamn injuries and suspensions this season, Spurs were doing well. Now, we weren't winning the title, but we were doing well. We were competing. We then have 300,000 injuries, and obviously then the season falls apart. And, I think that's a key thing that people need to remember in this season. If you like Ange or not, injuries have been a huge issue for our season. Well, the way I look at it now is from now onwards, you knock onwards up there as well, injuries no longer become the key issue of this season. It's now on these. I think, a lot of people are Levy out, Ange out, Levy in, Ange in. Let's put some blame at some of these players' feet from now on. They're the guys out on the pitch. Ange and Daniel Levy can't hold their hands if, they give away a stupid penalty or, they miss a wide open goal. They can't hold their hands. They can't do it for them. So, like I said, coming into this game as fit as you can hope for, it's now on the players as well as the coaching staff to now tick it up a notch. For me, I know, people have dug out Iriola for losing at home to Ipswich yesterday, and people have dug out, Silva for losing games. Even Thomas Frank, I think they lost to Newcastle away yesterday. I think. Don't hold me to that. I didn't actually check the scores. To me, it's irrelevant. That is the Bournemouth, Fulham, and Brentford manager. I'm worried about this manager, this group of players, because it may be completely different in the summer. Well, right now, let me worry about it right now. There's still stuff to play for. So I am backing the team. I am backing the manager and hoping for success. Maybe that's deluded and silly, and we'll come the end of the season, we'll know if that's deluded or silly. But right now, we have no other option, and that's my attitude. Whether you are Ange in or Ange out, Levy in, Levy out, Andy in or Andy out, there's no other place to go than just support. That's how I'm taking it. You don't have to do what I do. Please don't follow the opinion according to me as gospel. All right? I'm not Matthew. I'm not Luke. All right? Don't follow me as gospel. It's just how I'm feeling, because there's no other turn. I can't I can't go, oh, do you know what? Let me open up this book. Oh, I'm going to read this book from now on. No, you've only got one book. You got to read it. Oh, I'm going to paint this wall a different color. Well, if you've only got this paint of color, just paint it. Get on with it, And that's the kind of thinking I'm doing, So, again, this season may end up being horrific. This season still has a potential to be one of our better seasons in a while. And people struggle with that idea because they look at the league table, and I get that. But we all sat there and wanted cup success. And if we get European success coinciding with Champions League football next year, you have to back them. I would rather, even if I was Ange out, I would rather win all my games and win a European trophy. That's what I'd rather do. And that's my attitude. So I'm looking forward to tonight's game. I'm looking forward to, hopefully, some of that leadership group to step up and show out and show why they're leaders and show why they're leaders. You know, Romero, I have been, I still am probably one of Romero's biggest supporters. You know, and again, some people think I'm a bit silly for that, and that's fine. You're allowed your opinion, I'm allowed mine. You know, we keep it PG though. All right, we don't swear here. That's the idea. We don't swear here. All right, but for me, I think he's a wonderful centre back. Well, tonight is one of those games where I'm going to need a wonderful centre back performance. I'm going to need Mickey van der Ven to do Mickey van der Ven things. You want to run down the wing? Well, Mickey van der Ven's there. All right, cool. You want to run down the wing? Mickey van der Ven's there. I need to see that from Mickey. You know, I need to see, you know, James Maddison getting on the ball in midfield, getting on the turn, you know, winning fouls when we're under the cosh, things like that. It's the little things, not just, you know, I want James Maddison to score 5 goals, 3 of them overhead kicks and things like that. No, I'm just asking for the little things that will change the game. And that's where I think tonight will come down to. I think it'll be little things that will change the game. Are we going to shoot ourselves in the foot? Are they going to shoot themselves in the foot? Chelsea are prone to shoot themselves in the foot. I did in my preview, I said about Sanchez and the fact that he will give you an opportunity or two if you keep pressuring him. There's going to be a few times where the ball's going to come in, he's going to claim it and look like an absolute beast. There's going to be that 1 or 2 chances in a game where he's going to flap underneath that high ball. Could be from a corner, could be a cross or a free kick. Are you switched on and ready to attack the second ball? And that's where I think a key thing is tonight for me is the second ball, targeting some of that. You know, targeting some of, hey, Reece James has been out a long time for the last few years. Are we gonna target him? Not in terms of, I think Reece James is a great right back, by the way. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, are you going to test out some of those body parts? Are they still going strong? Are they still, you know, or are they still recovering? Are they still getting back to where they were? You know, I'm hoping for a Heung-Min Son where, you know, he's not had time off. Obviously, he's played international duty, but a reinvigorated Son to know, hey, this is a really massive end to the season. You know, you want to win something as a Tottenham captain, you've got an opportunity. You have an opportunity of 5 games, basically, in the Europa League. You don't even need to win all 5. You don't even need to win all 5. You probably just need to win 3, and you would be there. Now, 60% win ratio, that's interesting. But in the Europa League, we've been pretty good, to be fair, so I'm not going to deny it. Premier League, yeah. But looking at, you know, the Son, the Maddison, you know, Vicario, look, ball comes in the box. I want Vicario to annihilate that box. You know, as much as I've talked about, hey, Sanchez flaps underneath the high ball, Vicario's not been perfect under the high ball. He has improved, hands down. Nobody can deny that. And set piece wise this year, we have conceded a hell of a lot less than last year. We have improved in that regard. But it's like when Romero came back, crosses come into the box at corners and things like that. And I see an Argentinian missile rocketing towards the ball. I need to see that again. I need to see some leadership from the spine of the team where we're not going to be perfect for 90 minutes. They're going to create some opportunities, how you withstand the barrages. You know, everyone talks about the first 20 minutes of a Premier League game away from home. Can you withstand the pressure? Can you withstand the crowd and the energy you get from them? You know, their players are going to be really up for it. Loads of adrenaline. Can you withstand it, get through it, and build? Can Spurs be 0-0 after 20 minutes and then build into the game? I mean, Spurs being 1-0 up after 20 minutes, I wouldn't say no. That's what I'm looking for today. I'm looking for the quality. I'm looking for a Rodrigo Bentancur type of performance. The ones that we have seen every now and then this season, you know, the ones that we saw last season when he was injured and he still come back and he was still better than every midfielder on the pitch. I want to see that again. I want to see the Uruguayan Rodrigo Bentancur that I saw on international duty come in and continue that form. And that's the beauty sometimes of international break is they get away from sometimes a really difficult club situation, or, you know, they get away from being maybe someone that's not been playing sort of more regularly at the club and build form internationally. Is an opportunity to say, well, actually, hang on, Bentancur, could that be a prime opportunity if someone's building form? Romero, another one, building form. Wilson Odobert, Matisse Tell had built a bit of form on international break. Can they continue that? And you also then can factor in, well, there's been some players that have had some injury issues. Hey, they didn't play on international duty. They're okay. They're a bit fresher. So I'm looking to see 90 minutes out of Mickey, and I'm looking to see 90 minutes out of Mera, and I'm looking to see the quality between the two of those that I have become accustomed to. I think they're a fabulous centre-back pairing. One of the better ones in the Premier League, hands down. I think they need to open up the book. I've just got to skip through these pages where we were incredible. Write another chapter. I want to see another chapter because they're going to need that tonight. They're going to need to stand up, and they're going to need to, players at times might be looking at them to say, can you help us? And it's Mero going, yeah, I'll deal with this. Mickey going, I'll get us out of this situation. And when those two play and they're fit and healthy, we are a much different team. We are. And I'm going to need that today. I'm going to need my boys to stand up. But, it's going to be a really interesting game for a player like Lucas Bergvall. Being a young player that he is, he's had a fabulous season. As much as the season maybe hasn't been great, there have been some positives from the season. Jed Spencer's won, and Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall, they have, really shown out. And, you could even factor in players like, actually, do you know what? I think Wilson Odobert has shown me a little bit. He's missed a lot of time this season, but from what he has played when somewhat healthy, he has shown me a little bit. Players like Wilson and players like Lucas today, especially, Lucas has never played at Stamford Bridge. Maybe Odobert did for Burnley last season. I don't know. But when Burnley go and play there, it's not a London derby. This is a heated London derby. Where, hey, Caicedo might kick you a little bit. And Fernandez might kick you a little bit. And Cucurella will be all over Odobert. He will. That's his defensive style. It's the high press, stay tight to you, don't try and let you spin, force the play back into the midfield where then Caicedo and Fernandez can pounce. Well, players like that, sometimes inexperience can be in your favour, can't it? The youth of them, they don't know any. They know no pressure. They know nothing. Youth people do. When I was younger, I was like, I can do that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. I don't know what anxiety looks like when I go away at Chelsea. I'm a youth player. I'm going to go out there and play my game. And if I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real. I think a lot of people talk about the game we won by Sonny, the game we won by Slanky and Madders. I think the game might be won by Wilson Odobert. A little bit of Wilson Odobert, where I'm going to get the ball. I'm just going to run at Cucurella all day. I'm going to knacker him out so he's not going to get as forward as well as he has. I'm going to really pin him back. And he's happy. Like Odobert's thing, he can cut inside, no issues, onto his left. We've seen it. We've seen it from the right. And that's why I think on the right, it has sometimes worked, is him getting on the ball, being confident. Like, mate, you're going to lose the ball every now and then. That's what wingers do. Wingers, like, you watch Barcelona, Lamine Yamal loses the ball. I watch Kvaradona, that's his nickname, but Kvara at PSG loses the ball. Barcola loses the ball. And they're at PSG. They're the best club in France. I think they're going to win the title this weekend on Saturday at home to Angers. A little bit too much knowledge, I know. But, you think of Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, they lose the ball. All the top wingers, they lose the ball. It's normal because you're trying to do something that requires a little bit of luck at times, but some skill and some just good fortune. And I would rather him just keep going at fullbacks, and maybe he loses one every two. Hey, one in every two that he wins, what happens from there? So I'm hoping Wilson Odobert is at it today. He's up for it. He comes out with an attitude of, I want the ball. Give me the ball quickly. And let me run at my fullback. Because even if they do then double up, it's like, right, let me ping that back into Bergvall. Bergvall goes, let me find Maddison. Maddison goes, get on the front foot, move it with a bit of zip at times. Romero playing through the line, slanky, little, slanky link-up play. There's no reason why we go into this game and we shouldn't be sitting there going, we have a chance. We do. even in our awful state that we've been this season, you have a chance. Football isn't won on paper. You know that. I don't need to be telling you cliches and stupid sayings for you to understand that. You know football's not played on paper. You know lesser teams can go out there and beat big boys. There's a reason why Man City, when they're in their prime, didn't win every home game. There's a reason. I mean, we were crap. We beat Man City under Nuno first game of the season. I think we even won with Stellini. That is Premier League winning, Champions League treble winning champion. Manchester City, you can beat them. Crystal Palace used to do it to Man City all the time. They were another kryptonite for them. Liverpool, all these amazing teams can lose at home. I don't think Chelsea are in that stratosphere. I think they're the tier below. And it's a London derby. So hence why I've gone into there going, form is irrelevant sometimes in derbies. And sometimes all it takes is some crazy, crazy Argentine sitting at centre back to go, I'm going to crunch this guy. I'm going to win the ball. And that's going to set a tone. I think maybe that's my attitude is the tone setter Romero going to come out where I'm going to dominate my striker. I'm going to play through the lines. I'm going to then get us going. Am I going to see that Romero? Am I going to see sweeper, Mickey van der Ven? Nothing's getting past here. Just got my sweeper out. Nothing's getting past here. Am I going to see that Pedro Porro one-touch link-up play working? Because when it works, it's magical. When it doesn't, bit of a problem. Obviously, I don't know who's going to start at fullback. It's just these things that I look at. So I'm really excited about the game tonight, and it might be foolishness, and we might lose 4-0. That might happen. Right? But we might go out there and win 2-0 or 3-1. That's not happened. It happened a few years ago, but it happens. Sometimes you can catch them, and sometimes the ball occasionally falls your way. And I don't think the ball's fallen our way very much at all, really, this season. Can the ball fall our way this time? The world works in mysterious ways. Always remember that. It works in mysterious ways. So I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing for tonight. Will there be a review afterwards? I don't know. It might be on Friday. It's going to be late. I am old in my own mind, so we'll sort of see. But just for this one game, I'm going in with some positivity. Why am I going in with positivity? Because I just don't like to be a negative person. And the manager, even if you like him or not, he's not getting changed, right? He won't be sacked after today. Daniel Levy's still going to be there in the box today. By the way, I played Football Manager. I got Spurs in 2031-32, bought by Qataris. Just saying. They gave me a transfer budget of 300 million. I nearly crapped myself. Mental. Absolutely mental. But that's not going to change. Neither of them are going to change. Those players, that squad is not going to change in terms of recruiting new players in and players being sold. So whilst you play poker, you get dealt a hand. You play blackjack, you get dealt a hand. You play the hand. I'm all in, basically. I'm all in. I've got my chip pot's down, The big blind is $200. I've only got $200. So I have to go all in. That's the way I'm looking at it now for this season. Whether I like Ange, dislike Ange, love Ange, hate Ange, or same with Levy, same with these players, I'm dealt a hand and I'm just going to play it now. And that's the attitude that I'm taking. You don't have to take that. And please don't think you must take that just because I've said that. I would love for you to tell me, hey, Andy, I think I agree with you, but I disagree on these points. Or, hey, I disagree with you completely and this is why. I would love to have that conversation. But yeah, I'm going in there with a really positive attitude that why else would I want to go into a game thinking I'm going to lose? Why else would I want to go being negative? Why else would I want to be going into a game where I'm miserable? That's not a life to live. That's a miserable life to live. And like I said, when these players aren't changing, the manager's not changing, this owner is not changing on this one game. Well, I'm going to go in there and be positive. I've said 2-2. That's prediction. I'm not going in there thinking we're going to win 4-0. I've said 2-2. And I think if you go to Stamford Bridge, you get a draw. That's a solid result, especially with the way we've been this season. It's a solid result. You go into Southampton the weekend, you beat Southampton the weekend, and then you say, hey, Frankfurt, we will see you Thursday. Take that bravado, take that mindset, take that emphasis, take that positivity that we have right this second and go, like Callum Roach has just said, why not? Simple as that. Why not? That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm going with. I'm fired up for the game. I really am. I really am. I think for me, I always want to go into a game hoping we'll win. That's why I don't do the negativity side of things. I'm not deluded. I'm not a happy clapper. Although there's a few of you that comment that for fun. I know you do it to wind me up now. I'm not a happy clapper. I just choose not to be miserable. Let's talk some Ange quotes before I finish up. So he was talking in the week, and he was talking about apparently the squad are very excited by the prospect of doing something special and what remains for the season. It reads, I've had to remind them internally they felt that. The injured players have been really frustrated. They haven't been able to help. You've seen that. We all understand what a tough year it's been for everybody, but particularly those players who've had to carry the load. It's the worst thing when you can't help your team and contribute. He talked about when players were coming back from injury. He says you can sense their enthusiasm and their energy is transferring to the guys who've gone through that period. You sense from the players are excited by the prospect of we're here now. Whatever we've been through, and we've still got an opportunity to do something special this year. Let's tackle that in the manner we tried to do everything so far, playing our football and having a real positive mindset about things. And that's, I guess, probably something similar to the attitude that I've gone in there with. What's happened has happened. You can't change what's happened. You can't even really change what happened a minute ago. We've got a game tonight. In just over 7 hours' time, we play. I think it's 8 o'clock. It might be 7:45. But regardless, about 7 hours' time we play today. Why not? Why not? There's an opportunity to do something fantastic. And why not? Rob, I went on to Spurs not long ago. About 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, I think it was. 3 weeks ago, I think it was. I went on there. That was a good one. I don't really know many pages, to be honest, mate. Sorry. He says, a strong finish to the Premier League season is vital as positive results can give Spurs a big boost going into their European fixtures. The team are now in a position where they have a rare opportunity to have a singular focus on winning the Europa League. We've got to the quarterfinals because of performances through the tough period. We had to get to that point with some very difficult moments and a lot of young players, not just first-team players, but our players in our academy to get us to the point. I think the players who have deserved to be in this position to have, a crack at something, achieving something. We kind of know that there's 9 league games left, hopefully 5 in Europa. So you've got 14 games, 53 days together. You've got a clear amount of time with no interruptions. So you've got a clear plan there of what we can do. But you've got to chip away at it game by game, and it starts tonight. And that's the kind of attitude that I'm taking. Game by game, it starts tonight. Southampton at the weekend's the next one up, but it starts tonight. Worry about Chelsea. This is a game that all fans care about, even the ones who probably secretly want us to lose all our games so Ange gets sacked, and even the ones that want us to win every single game because they want success. It matters for everyone. If this game doesn't matter for you as a Spurs fan, I'm worried about you as a Spurs fan, because this game, for me, matters massively. It really does. I see all of your comments. You people tell me all the time how much you dislike Chelsea. I know on this community, we care about every single game. But this is one of those games that just has that extra sort of 10, 15% of interest on, So I'm looking forward to that in that regard. But look, the comments I think were great. I echo a lot of the sentiment, and it's not because I am pro Ange. I'm just pro Tottenham, and I'm pro success, and I'm pro happiness. I'm taking game by game. I'm not even worried about Frankfurt just yet. I'm worried about tonight. I want to win tonight. That's what, obviously, I want to win every game, but I want to win tonight. I'm not thinking of Frankfurt. And they've got Southampton the weekend. I'm still not thinking of Frankfurt. Might be a little bit more, but even then, it's like beat Southampton. boom, off you go again. Building up that form is going to be massive. Just building up that momentum, getting these players to play who have played a lot of football together, who have missed a lot of football together this season, to rekindle those chemistries and rekindle the style of play they know each other for. So there's that. Fair enough, Stephen. Will I see Madison turn up for a big game? Madison does turn up for big games, but I get your point. Also, Spurs is a good bunch. They're a great bunch. Jim's a great guy. Good group. I like them. But look, in reality, I can't keep stressing this enough. Don't worry about Frankfurt. Don't worry about the Europa League. Don't even worry about Southampton. It's Chelsea tonight. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters in the Spurs world right now. Just Chelsea. And if you are one of those people that's thinking of Frankfurt, fair enough. But looking ahead is how you always trip yourself up. You always trip yourself up looking ahead. I'm just worried about Chelsea tonight. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait. But Frankfurt's a tasty. Shut up, Steve. No, honestly, buzzing for it. Like I said, we may go live after the game. I don't know. I am old. I probably would rather be asleep. So we'll sort of see how I feel. But Spurs win, I might. Spurs win. The vibes are going to be insane. But just give me a nice slice of Ange ball. I'm trying to lose weight at the moment. I've cut down on my calories and things like that. But I'll have a slice of Ange ball. But we'll see. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. Appreciate you kicking in and being here as late as that. Predicted lineup, Callum, really quickly. Vic, Destiny, Porro, Mickey Kuti, Bentancur, Bergval, Madders, Son, Odobert, Solanke. There you go. I've gone 2-2. I think I went Maddison and Odobert. I think they were my top 2 goal scorers. I think they were. But yeah, no. But anyway, regardless of that, thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. I really appreciate the fact that you have. Obviously, I know I'm normally here about 2 hours earlier, but I appreciate it. I may see you later tonight. If not, I will see you tomorrow to talk more Spurs. Go and enjoy the rest of your days, your mornings, your afternoons, your evenings, wherever in the world. And I'll speak to you all very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Peace.